I'm Roy, your friendly neighborhood East Coast aviator. I've had a passion for airplanes and adventure for as long as I can remember. Join me as I work towards my private pilot license and the stories that unfold along the way, embracing the chaos, one knot at a time. Welcome back, my friends. Your friendly neighborhood East Coast aviator here. I'm just going to talk about a quick little subject here. This should probably be a quick video today, but felt it was worth going over. So, as fall, gets further along and we're getting closer to winter, some of you may be like me and you don't get to fly throughout the winter. Now, for me, I don't own my own airplane yet. Hopefully someday. But the flight school that I train at is a good 2.5 hours away, so it gets kind of sketchy in the winter to drive up that far. So what I do, and I really don't see a whole lot of people ever talking about this, or I don't know how many people actually explore this as an option, but I recommend, and this is how I do it, is I use the Microsoft Flight Simulator, or you can use a similar application. I think there's like X-Plane or some others, but for me, with the flight yoke and controls, and you can have all the accessories to get the right kind of setup to better simulate real world scenarios when you're in the airplane. So yes, it is a computer game technically, but it can also be a training tool. It is a simulator. That's the key word. It's not Microsoft Flight Game, it's Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, I've had a somewhat long and drawn-out journey to this PPL. And one thing that tends to impress my instructor when I have long gaps, in training, is that I'm not as rusty as I should be when I get in the air, and that's because of the simulator. What you can get out of it depends on how you're using the flight sim. So if you're using it as a game, then obviously you can play it as a game. You can live out your greatest Top Gun fantasies. For me, I stick to the flight lessons. So I take everything that I learn in my flight lessons and I practice it. I am not to the point of my training yet where I've done cross country, but I will practice cross country. I will plan out, this is where you go. You can fill out a flight plan. You can even simulate a weight and balance. You can treat it the same as you would if you were actually flying in the air. And that's kind of what I do. I approach it as if I were flying the real plane. I practice the proper procedures as I am taking off. I try to maintain the local limits. I account for real world weather. I have that setting turned on. That's kind of helpful, so you can kind of better simulate where your airport is and what you would be flying into if you were actually flying. So that's good. There are add-ons you can have that you can get live air traffic control, which is not a bad thing. You can also hook up a EFB like a Flight Plan Go or ForeFlight, or I'm pretty sure even Garmin Pilot. You can connect into this, so you can get a real cockpit kind of a experience, I guess. So if I know that my next lesson, say, will be stalls, then I can go up and in the game get up, simulate a stall and then recover in a realistic fashion. The game's actually pretty responsive, especially if your hardware can handle like the high settings and whatnot. Heck, you can even do like VR if you got a VR headset, which to really immerse yourself into the thing. But that is what I personally would advise for during the winter months. That's certainly how I'm going to be doing it. Circumstances have kept me on the ground a little more this year than I would have liked. But you know, through that simulator, I can get myself, you know, in practice and continue in practice. You know, and I could show, you know, just kind of a brief one. I'm not going to fill this channel with, you know, flight simulator footage, because that's not what this is. This is not a gaming channel. You want to watch game, you could find me on Twitch. You know, occasionally, you know, stream one there. But yeah, it kind of gives you an idea. I'll give you a rough idea of how it goes, and then kind of give you, you know, maybe it's something you haven't tried, maybe it's something you can explore. I do know that it's coming out for PlayStation 5 if you want to do that, although a joystick's not the same as having a flight yoke, so you can manipulate the controls. You can even get rudder pedals, practice your taxiing and things like that. I don't have those, so, you know, I have to make sure that mentally I'm proficient when I do the actual taxiing, so I'm not, you know, going all over the runway or over the taxiway. But that's it for this portion. I will put in some footage here of the just a basic kind of takeoff and kind of thing, just to kind of show you the gist of you know, the simulator if you haven't seen it. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of that. So we'll cut to that footage. You can kind of see what's up there, and you know, hopefully you'll find this helpful. Hopefully you'll find the channel helpful. We do have a Discord available now. We're going to start at some point as the community grows a little further. I am going to start up a Patreon with some exclusive perks for that. But you know, let's be honest, we're just starting this thing off. We're not exactly lighting up the internet right now, but you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. So go ahead, comment below if you've ever used a flight simulator like this to keep your skills up, and if so, you know, how do you find it? It helps. And of course, you know, anything else you want to talk about, you know, hit up the comments. Let's get some dialogue going. I read every comment, and we'll reply to every comment as time allows. So we'll get to the footage and go from there. All right, so we're finally here. It took way longer to get this working than I thought it was going to. I was having some technical difficulties. That being said, you can kind of see the flight simulator here. It gives you various options. Let's pause it for a second. You know, you get to choose your different views. Completely up to yourself. And typically, I stick in the cockpit. Now, the plane I'm flying in here in the simulator is got the G1000 set up. That is, you know, nowhere near as high tech. I'm used to the low tech of the glass steam gauges, but this is a 172. They don't have a 172 in the sim that I could find yet that has the analog gauges. That being said, whether you're on steam or glass, the concept is the same. So we took off from CYSJ, which you can see down there. You know, you get to see all the local area around me. But in the simulator, you can practice your basic maneuvers. You know, you can practice your turns, landings, takeoffs, practice your cross countries. I mean, this wasn't going to be a big piece of the video because honestly, you know, you want to find, you know, video game or simulator content out there. You can find it, but it's a good way to practice your maneuvers that you learn in your lessons. So if you're practicing turns, you're practicing stalls, you're practicing spins, whatever you want to do, this type of a setup will allow you to do it. I've got, you know, the whole flight yoke and, you know, side controls for throttle, and if I was flying a plane with a variable pitch propeller, you know, there's a lever for that, fuel mixture, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to leave it at here. Like I said, this is just going to be a quick little thing just to kind of show you, you know, if you're unfamiliar, what the view looks like inside the simulator. It's pretty good. Now the weather here at CYSJ is very cloudy, very rainy, so I didn't turn on the real weather. Normally I have live weather. This is what things look like right now. I would not be VFR here. I'm where I'm not supposed to be otherwise. So yeah, I was climbing to 5,500 here, so you know, 5,000 feet I'm in cloud. It's not where I want to be. So yeah, I'll get the plane here on the ground, but that should hopefully give you guys an idea, and really consider using this as an option to supplement your training. So until next time, stay safe and embrace the chaos, one knot at a time.